Hello and welcome back to LTC Heroes Live by Experience Care. My name is Peter Murphy Lewis. I'm your host. I'm excited because it's day 2 of Florida Healthcare Association. It's a big event. There's a lot of people here. But today I'm honored because I am talking to someone important on the board of directors of the association. Her name is Julie Morris, and she's recently a regional vice president. But today we're going to talk about her role in the association. Julie, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Julie, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
This is going to be the first time I've asked somebody to start off this.
Okay.
I heard you have a great voice. I want a little bit of what you sing in karaoke.
Oh, okay. So let's say karaoke. That could be a little bit of everything. That could be country. That could be pop.
Let's go country. That's the theme this week.
It is the theme. It is the theme. Let's see. Well, we were just singing Eric Church, so
Go for it.
all you gotta do is put a drink in my hand.
Thank you. I love it. I always like to have first for the podcast,
So
and I knew you'd be up for it. Julie, you were recently elected. Tell me about your position, your vision, and what are the challenges that you face to get your mission accomplished?
Well, I've been a part of the association now for 18 years. And I first got into it because I just wanted to belong into the association of the industry that I absolutely love working in. And after my first district meeting, I decided I definitely want to grow more and be more involved. And I got involved in committees and started chairing committees and co-chairing committees. And then I recently ran for an FHCA board office a few years ago, and I just kept climbing that ladder. So today I was elected as senior VP, which is great.
Congrats.
Thank you.
What do you want to do on the board in the next year?
What I'd love to do is, typically this conference is mainly for administrators, operators, RVPs, C-suite kind of members. But I'd really like to see it expand to the other disciplines that support all of those people in each of our centers. So like skilled nursing rehab directors, EPs of rehab, those that can wrap their arms around multiple buildings at a time and they support those multiple buildings. They need to be here and see the stuff that we do and get the education that we do. Clinical reimbursement. There's a lot of different tracks that we offer at the conference for education. And that's one of the big ones that we're focused on with PDPM and the changes that are coming with MDS in the fall. So being able to offer that for clinical reimbursement and therapy services is amazing.
I have a question about someone who has 3 decades of experience in long-term care. Do you learn anything at conventions or you just come here for the people?
Oh no, I learn something every year. Yeah. Like yesterday, I learned that that there's a lot more that I need to learn about MDS and what the changes are. I have really good friends that are in those roles. So it helps that they can teach me and tell me new things, but listening to the speakers that are seeing it firsthand, or they're hearing it from, the other folks, the CMS folks, as they're passing it down and getting that firsthand knowledge is always very beneficial.
I want to transition into, for me, what seems like a non-traditional career, the way that you got in and where you are. But before we get there, tell me about maybe some of your mentors here at the association that, 15 years ago helped you understand this, and 10 years ago taught you this about emotional intelligence, and 5 years about HR. Can you name a couple that have been important to you?
Oh, absolutely. So my first district meeting that I mentioned 18 years ago was with Lori Jowett. She was the administrator at Health Central Park. She's since retired, but when she got me involved, she was an RVP for on the board herself. So she was the one that showed me the importance of being involved in the association. When I decided to run for an office, Anita Fallman, the president of the association right now, was the one that kind of pulled me in and said, you need to go through Florida Leaders. You need to become more involved in committee. And that prompted me to get into the board office that, we have now. So that's what I want to do to folks. Like one of my administrators just graduated from Florida Leaders. I think you interviewed Brittany yesterday. So she's one of my mentees that I'm moving through the association as well.
I love it because I feel like you didn't say it specifically, but you gave a call to action. If there's somebody who's not a member, or if there's someone young inside of a long-term care organization that is a member but hasn't come yet, they're going to be welcomed and that they're going to be taught, they're going to be embraced.
Yes.
They're going to get a hug and they might get a country song sang to them. Julie, take me back to your first day in long-term care. I call it the initiation story. Tell me when you realized you were going to work in long-term care, and then kind of the follow-up question is, How long in did you realize, oh, I think I'm gonna be a lifer? Like this place found me.
Well, I mean, that's an easy question because it came from my family's involvement. My dad was a pharmacy consultant for skilled nursing facilities in Western North Carolina, where I grew up. So I helped deliver a lot of by driving his van for all of the deliveries that he had to do to the different nursing homes that he serviced. And so my first job was accounts payable and payroll in one of his skilled nursing facilities. And on my second week of the job, the administrator of that building, who I had known for most of my life because she was very close friends with my father as well, came into my office on a Friday afternoon at 4:30 and slapped a book down. Nursing Home Administration 101. And she said, read this because on Monday we're going to apply for you to become an administrator. And I looked at her and I was like, I don't know if I want to be an administrator. And she goes, read this and we'll talk on Monday. I went home. I read as much of it as I could. I walked into her office and I said, I'm sold. Let's do it. And that's how I got into it.
Love it. What about the book? Can you remember? Was it the diversity of the tasks? Was it the impact you're going to have by having your hands in so many different areas? What was it that convinced you over
there was a passage in in the first chapter, and I still have this book at home, but there was a passage in the first chapter that said, do not get in this business unless you truly want to be a servant leader of the ones that you care for and the servant leader of the ones that you mentor and coach. And that's been my attitude for the last 30 years.
Why did that resonate with you? Was there someone in your life that you admired was a servant leader and you said,
my father? Yeah. Yeah.
How so? Can you think of any examples, even if it's not in the nursing home, maybe at home or church or
well, he always taught us. I was the oldest of three, and he always taught us to do everything we have with a passion of a servant's heart. And that was the way he was raised, in family business. And he took over his dad's business. My mom had her own business. So we were groomed at a very young age of what customer service and being a service person was, no matter what your business was, whether it was pharmacy or long-term care pharmacy, or even her retail business that she had. It's just what it was in our blood. And that's what I knew I wanted to do.
I know our parents' generation might not know how to show their approval of what we're doing. Has he ever told you that he's proud of what you've done and the growth that you've done?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, a lot. I actually lost my dad May 8th. He passed away this year. So he always told me and my brothers that he was proud of us and what we did. And a couple of times we would have conversations of, well, none of us took over the family business. And he said, that's okay. You do what you love every day and you're good at it. So I'm proud of you for that. And that's the best thing he could have ever said.
I told you this the first time I've started off with karaoke. It's the first time I started off karaoke and also teared up in an interview. So you got a lot of first.
Oh, good.
Sorry for your loss, but it's
Thank
beautiful
you.
that you had him for so much of your life.
Thank you.
I wanna move into emotional intelligence. It's a topic that I'm passionate about. So I'm interested in what you've learned about yourself from working in long-term care.
Well, I've learned that I'm definitely in the right business. Every day I get teary over something I've seen or something that's been shared with me or that I've witnessed or I've been a part of. And I think a lot of what has come full circle for me is how the industry wraps their arms around each other during like the hurricanes or with the losses that we experienced with COVID. Yesterday, part of my role in our session that we had was for me to do the in remembrance. And so I had to read about the 8 lives that we lost that have touched this industry for their entire career. And that was very difficult for me because I knew a couple of them. And that's something they've given me to do as a task for the last several years. And at first I thought, this is awful. I don't want to do this. And then I realized it was an honor to do it. I could pay my respects to them and what they brought to the industry. And it touches your soul to see those that have touched so many that are still being loved even after they're gone.
Love it. Love it. I want to ask you maybe for a story that comes to mind when I share mine. Maybe it seems trivial, but it's something you'll never forget. When I was becoming a CNA, there was a gentleman that couldn't communicate. I think he had rather severe dementia as well. And he never finished his food, and then CNAs never wanted to work with him because he kind of grunted and made lots of loud noises. And I kind of took it upon myself to see if I could get him to finish a meal. And I did it through the book Five Languages of Love,
There you
just
go.
by touching his back. And he
Yep.
just needed to be loved by touching his back, and he finished his meal. Do you have any small wins, small things that feel like huge wins for you in your history long-term care?
I will say that when you it was probably when I did my administrator and training program at the facility in North Carolina, and I was very blessed when I did my CNA rotation that I actually was able to take care of my own great grandmother
Oh,
because she was a patient at the nursing home, and that was a huge honor for me to care for her. And she actually passed when I was still there. So I was able to care for her during the end stages of her life, but then I was also able to care for her after she had passed on and prepare her body and let her daughter see her in a more loving light. Because when somebody passes, sometimes it's not always the most appealing thing to see or watch. So I was able to help her get back to the way her daughter would have remembered her, my grandmother. That was a beautiful lesson for me, was to learn how to do that service for a family member, whether it was mine or not, of letting them see their loved one again before they say goodbye to the physical body, and let them have a kind smile when they see them, rather than how horrible it can be or how hard and hurtful it is.
mm.
I think that's something that I've tried to pass down to the folks that are under my report, that I can mentor and coach, is that please make sure that that you're giving them as much love and respect when they come in the door as when they're leaving, because that means just as much to the family as anything.
Great. Oops, I had myself on mute. Thank you for sharing that. As we start to wrap up, Julie, I want to ask you, I'm going to ask you a question mainly because of your role in the association. One of the interviews I did yesterday really struck me because the person said, "Well, the reason I come here is because in Florida, we fight to be the best state for the best quality in the entire country. This is not me against my competitor that's 10 miles away. This is not me against trying to climb the ladder so I can become the next CEO. This is us, all of us in Florida, 700 plus people here.
Oh,
And,
that's true.
and we're trying to beat
Yeah.
all 49 states."
Yeah.
What's something that you're really proud about this association, your all's work in Florida?
Well, I love that we all represent who we work for. I mean, you have to work for somebody, and you have to, pay your bills and take care of your own families. But when we come to this conference, it's not about, um, I work for this company or you work for that company. It doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, we have it on our name tags, and that's how we identify with each other. But when we walk in these doors, we're here just to be colleagues that want to have fun, network, enjoy each other. Good to see you. Let's catch up. Let's go get a drink, let's sit down and learn some stuff together. Let's have some fun, go to the party that we have, at the end of the week. It's an opportunity for us just to be people who love doing what we all love to do, and just get it to be together to do it.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thanks for joining me on
You're
LTC
welcome.
Here's Julie. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.